Good day, everyone. You're welcome to Just Event Online TV about the countries once again. Today, we shall be talking to Professor. Now we call him a politician, a front runner in the who say the strongest opposition in Kwara State today. That is the PDP. Is running for a National Assembly seat, and he has declared for the seat of Ilorin West and Asa Federal Constituency. I think you disagree with me. A lot of people will say that it is Asa and Ilorin West, not Ilorin West and Asa. I'm talking about Professor Abdulfatai Aremu, who we're talking about his ambition, what he wishes to do, and how and why he feels his party is the party for the people in the coming general election. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, I know you may not like to agree with me, but a lot of people will say that you're a new face in Kwara politics. For me, you might not be, but for a lot of people, you will be. But let's start with Abdul Fattah Aremu. Can we get to know you first before we go deeply into the conversation?
So I am Professor Fatai Aremu. Thank you for having me. And I'm a professor of political science. I hail from Suzuki Ward in Nasa local government in Kwara State. I grew up under extraordinary circumstances. So I grew up, I went to Mount Carmel Demonstration Primary School in Oloje. And I went to, as a local government commercial secondary school, a community school in Bakase. And while I was in secondary school, there was no electricity or water. The distance between the school and where we used to fetch water should be between 4 to 5 kilometers of distance. Yeah, and we go every day to fetch water. And throughout my 5 years in secondary school, I didn't see electricity once to read books, but by the grace of God, I still made my work at once. In fact, almost everything was A1, A and all that. So, and by that time, it was an extraordinary feat because coming from that kind of environment where I'm talking about 1983 to 1988, just imagine today you are in a rural community, you post a very good teacher to a school where there is no water or electricity. The teacher would not stay. So throughout my 5 years, the teachers that we had were just people who were just committed. But in terms of core subjects, we didn't have really good teachers staying with us for long. So the fact that we're able to emerge from that environment and become what we are today, all thanks to Almighty Allah for making it possible. And it's a lesson in the sense that it shows that whatever Allah will do, He will do it, irrespective of the background. But in addition to that, just for the purpose of those who are watching and listening all over the world, I also have this special privilege to have started my life at some point as a barber. I learned barbing and I did it very well. I still know how to barb very well till today. I also learned how to weave. I weaved ashoke, so ashofi. So I did that very well to support my parents while I was very young and because they had limited income. So up to today, I can still weave very well. And then I worked in the bakery. I sold meat in the market. These are not made up stories. These are things that I passed through before I now. So sometimes when I look back and I reflect on my life, I used to wonder, how did I end up
through all these orders and
then become a professor? I don't know. Whatever God will do, God will do it. So.
Well, the one thing I will not forget is that one way or the other, you and I are alumni of the same school. I actually graduated from Moscow Demonstration Primary School too, I think, for the very first time.
When was that?
Sir.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Don't even talk about the year gap.
Okay.
Almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Surely.
Okay, so no problem.
So it will surely be different environments. But now let's go into everything. Let's start the conversation too. Through all these things you've been, let's talk about where you come from. Asa. Asa is predominantly a rural environment. And I think most of those things you said you experienced over 40 years ago, most of them are still there now, if you agree with me. I think the most recent one is the issue with the moral breach. People, that's the lifeline of Asa to Ilorin, and now it is one way or the other cut off. But well, I'm not trying to isolate that conversation, but are we going to say that one of the things that prompted you into going into politics to help your people? Because I've seen you doing all other things outside politics, but now you want to represent the people.
So thank you very much. You touched on a very important aspect. One of the reasons that I stepped out to contest for the Federal House of Representatives is to address this particular issue that you have raised. What Professor Aremu stands for in politics is a unique voice for those who have been neglected over the years. If you look at the way our governance is structured, our political system is structured, it is urban focused. It is urban focused because most of the political elite, most of the people who are in charge of governing are products of urban centers. The rural communities are weak in terms of voice. Okay, I tell you my experience of how I grew up in a rural community as a young boy, having to go to long distance to fetch water, no electricity. So all the basic facilities that you need to equip you with the skills that can enable you to compete are simply absent. Now, for me to emerge from that circumstance and become who I am today, I have an obligation to speak for them. And he who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. If you don't experience it, if you don't live it, you don't know what it means. So you should not be surprised that the plight of the rural communities are still the same as they were 30 years, 40 years ago, because predominantly those that you see in the parliament, those that you see in the executive, are people who grew up in urban centers, who went to elite schools. They don't know that what it means to be in a rural community. And that's why people like us said, no, we have to come out because we have an obligation. Since God has given us the opportunity to have a voice, we have to use the voice for greater good. And that's why we are coming out. Not just for the rural communities, but other vulnerable and voiceless constituencies, young people, for example, persons with disability, women, those who have been socially disadvantaged over time. And because of my training, because I've been trained in the best universities around the world, and I've also been training people around the world, I know how to articulate evidence to shape policy. So when I'm in the National Assembly, I'm in a gathering where we have to, because this is a democracy. The political system, the governance environment will not just wake up one day and be friendly to the rural communities. It cannot just wake up and be friendly. It will reflect the predominant interest of the powerful elite. Unless you have people who have the ability to articulate those voices and support them, that's when the interest of those voiceless communities can be taken care of. And that's one of the reasons that I decided, no, I have to do this.
So, I think I got what you said, but Yoruba people would say that cattle did become, you are a professor, and looking behind the camera, I see doctors, researchers. I think, how and why did you choose a party that is currently in oblivion? Why did you settle for PDP of all parties?
So first, I have to correct one impression. PDP is not in oblivion. PDP is still a powerful party, is still a formidable party in the country, and it is a party that is more reflective of the people's interests. It's a party that governed this country for 16 years. And in hindsight, people are now seeing the difference between the period that PDP was in power and the period that this other party has been in power. There is a complete difference in it. So PDP is a formidable party, it's a strong party. I chose PDP because it aligns with the values that I represented. And those values I shared with you about reflecting the popular will of the people, reflecting, and if you see the logo, power to the people, that's PDP. It's also it's a party where there is space for voices to be heard and be taken up. The other party is a purely elitist party. It's also a party where it will take a long time for you to create space for the voiceless. This is not a party that is designed to accommodate new voices. The PDP is a more flexible party, it's a more accommodating party. It's a party that has been tested in the past. And now, having tested the other one, the people now know the difference.
Sir, I'm not a professor. I don't have your experience. But I know what I know. This party was booted out in 2019.
Yeah.
In 2023, the same thing. They lost in the nooks and crannies of Kwara State. I'm just looking out for you, sir. Are you not afraid that the same thing might repeat itself in 2023, in 2027?
Well, the dynamics for what happened in 2019 and 2023 have changed. And for example, if you see the bulk of the people in PDP in Kwara State, most of the aspirants, they are new faces. They are people who are genuinely interested in making contributions to the society. They are not people looking for positions to enrich themselves. They are people who are established. They are accomplished professionals in their own right. So, and the PDP, having lost election twice, have also gone back to reflect on what went wrong. They have now come up with a stronger and better strategy. Don't forget, people are grossly disappointed with the experiences they've had with this. You can just sample, you are in the media, you can sample people's opinion. Not only that.
Currently, this government gave us the tallest flagpole in West Africa. This government gave us an ICC. This government gave us a visual art center. This government gave us an innovation hub. This government is currently renovating the Kwara Hotel into world standard. These are the things we've not been saying before. You are a professor. This government has improved on Kwasu. We agree that your party brought it, but they have improved on Kwasu. You know what is happening in Usi and Elisha Bariba campuses. This government have a lot. We have been given 2 bridges. One, University of Ilorin, you are very familiar with that one, and then the other one, where it is. How do you want to tell people that this party is not doing it right and you can do it better?
Thank you very much. I am very happy that you cited those projects. They are very, I'm very happy that you mentioned them. Of all these projects you have mentioned, just tell me one that serves the interest of the common man. Just tell me one of them.
A lot of roads
that serve the interest of the people.
Just a minute. Just wait. There are roads. A lot of roads have been paved.
All of them are based in the urban centers. The rural communities are completely neglected. Once you do an X-ray of all the projects that you have mentioned, they are elite-focused projects. They are not projects that address the need of the common man and woman. They are not needs that address the needs of the poor people. They are not projects that takes care of the future of an average young person yearning for dignified and fulfilling work. They are projects that are driven by elites who were brought up in a very rich environment, who do not know what it means to be a poor person. Just look at all of them as you have mentioned them. It is not driven by the desire to alleviate the burden of poverty that is ravaging the ordinary person in Kwara State. None of them.
So, I want to agree with you with one thing: poverty. As far back as 2019, 2 out of 10 persons in Kwara State, according to MBS now, I'm giving you MBS statistics. 2 out of 10 persons in Kwara State are poor. But today, MBS statistics say 4.5 out of 10 persons in Kwara State are poor. Now, sir, you as a professor, I know that you're coming as a team. Do you think you can reverse that, or it will only get worse? Because the people voted for this government because they thought it would get better. But in that regard, I'm not saying in every regard, but in that regard, it got worse according to National Bureau of Statistics. So, what is your party, you together? Because I know that when policies are about to be formed, they will bring the best heads in your party, in your camp, and I know that you're one of the best heads. Can you give us a glimpse of what we can get?
Let me, before we even go to what we can get, let me just talk on the statistics. And I'm happy you brought the statistics up. You see that the poverty level, incidence of poverty has grown from 2% more than, yeah. And I can tell you, even the MBS statistics probably underrepresent the actual reality when you go out to do the real number. Because what they do, I've worked with MBS, I know how they do their survey. When you do the real live sampling of people's opinion, I can tell you that it is actually more than 4.5. It's about 8 out of 10 people are struggling to have decent livelihood in Kwara State today. All you just need to do is just step out and just ask random questions from people. Nobody can deny that. Even the party in government cannot deny that people are suffering today. The good news is that by the grace of God, there will be a change in 2027. And the change will be driven by 2 primary philosophies.
Exactly where I want to drive. Let's assume tentatively that you got the ticket, you are in the House of, you get the win, you are in the House of Assembly. What do you want to do for the people of the rural area? And don't forget that we in the urban areas, urban centers, we are not enemies of the government. We deserve some things too, because most of the things you said is about rural. What about the urbans?
The needs for the urban communities are not the same with the needs of the. There are some common needs, but there are those that are not the same. Okay, so because I stayed in a very rural community, I know what it means to wake up in the morning and not have water to shower, to bath, to drink. You have to trek long distance to go to the stream. You don't do that in the cities. I told you, throughout my days in secondary school, I read with lantern. I read with lantern to the extent that even when I came to Ilorin for holiday and I wanted to read, when I put on the switch, when I switch on the light, I won't see the book because I've been used to the very close to my book. So from long distance, I won't see anything again. So I'll switch it off and put on the lantern to read.
Wow.
So there are circumstances that there are things that you take for granted in the urban centers that is a luxury in rural communities. In fact, to transform the lives of rural communities takes just very little investment that is strategic, unlike in urban centers. The needs for the urban centers are different. In urban centers, is made up of huge number of young people that are looking for not jobs. People talk about jobs. No. An average young person is looking for dignified and fulfilling livelihood. You understand? So, for example, you see graduates riding keke. A graduate that went to school, either College of Education or Polytechnic or university, while they are in school, they are not attending school because they want to go and be riding keke. They are riding keke because they had no choice. So they just need to survive. We have lost a lot of time in having real conversation as to how do we proceed from here. And we are fully ready from day one to hit the ground running.
What would you do in specifics?
Good, fantastic. In terms of specifics, for example, I'll be going to the House of Representatives.
Inshallah.
By the grace of God, inshallah. With the support of people and people like you.
We are not allowed to be aligned.
Yeah, you are not aligned, but you are a human being and you have your preferences. And you have to vote. You are a citizen anyway. So
I can't vote.
You can vote.
By the nature of my profession.
You will not vote?
I won't be around. I won't be at
You'll be doing your coverage, but it's not that by law you are not allowed to. Ordinarily, you are even supposed to vote.
That's by the virtue of my profession.
Yeah. So
maybe
that's
when you get to the House of Assembly, you make a provision for earlier voting that happens in Ghana.
Yeah. For the people who are in essential services. Yeah, I think that's very important because you should not be disenfranchised because of the nature of the job that you are doing. That is not okay. So, and these are the kind of things that I'm really happy to. When you go to the National Assembly, you have three primary responsibilities. One is lawmaking, the other is appropriation, and the third one is oversight. Those are the core responsibilities of a legislator. And when you look at all this, if you use the instrument very well, you can transform a lot of lives. And for now, because it's still too early, because we don't want our opponent to latch on what we have in mind, there are concrete ideas that we have. But in addition to that, because you ask the question, what do we do to cushion the effect of this ravaging poverty on the people? Because of the nature of my job, I have accumulated a lot of experiences in terms of how to access grants, how to write grant proposals for communities to be, and I know where to pitch them, and how to identify credible community associations and groups to work with them, help them to package their proposals, train them on what they need to do, and connect them to the right choices. For example, there are huge pools of resources on women's economic empowerment all over the world. What I need is the letterhead to give credibility to those, because the questions that a donor will ask is, okay, if I'm going to give you, let's say $300,000 or $500,000 to execute projects to better the lives of people.
The money will go to where?
No, the question will even be that, have you executed 100,000 projects before? If I'm going to entrust with 300,000 or 500,000, and most of our communities don't have that, and that's where I come in, to stand in, to say, no, these are my communities, I'm representing them. I'm going to stand in for them. This is my letterhead. I have an address. If anything goes wrong, hold me. But give them the resources to do this. I can guarantee you that it will create the impact that you want. I'm saying this because I know how it works.
So, governance, experience, academics, talent is not equated to performance. They will currently have somebody representing the very good people of Asa and the West Federal Government Constituency. Do you think you'll be an improvement on that person?
I would definitely be a great improvement on what he's doing for different reasons. One, this National Assembly we are talking about, I've been working in that environment for more than 10 years. I understand the system. And if you are going into that system and you don't understand it very well, 4 years will come like, within the twinkle of an eye, is gone. And that's what he is experiencing. I can guarantee you, it's very difficult to point to anything that is able to do within these 4 years, and the 10 years running out.
I want to go into specifics now.
Yeah.
You probably stay in Ilorin, I'm not sure about that. If you want to go to Suzuki or where, I know you have to pass through the Moro Bridge. The Moro Bridge is now out of place. I saw a video yesterday of people trying to cross the bridge with their bare legs, which is not healthy, which is very dangerous. But what I want to say is, I think there was another bridge that is being constructed. I'm not sure whether it's by the federal government or the state government, but it has been abandoned for quite a time now. Please, what would you do to that? Because you rarely see somebody from Ilorin West without a family from Asa, even if he himself is not from Asa. I'm from Ilorin West. My wife is from Asa. Funny enough, from your ward. So, if my wife is going to,
so you're even my in-law.
if my wife is going, my grandfather is your in-law too.
Oh.
My maternal, grandmother is from the same word. So I'll take through my grandfather. But that is very important. Apart from the people of Asa, that links to Shaki, to Kama, to Bertin, to Benin Republic. That's one of the most important aspects of of Ilorin's life. And now it is there, and I don't think there has been tangible steps taken to address that issue. Sir, please, do you have any plan for that bridge?
Thank you very much. That bridge is a personal, because one, that's where I come from. Two, that's where I went to school. All my family lived there. And each time I go to that place, I feel that bridge has been in state of disrepair for more than 30 years. It has been due for complete overhaul or replacement for a very long time.
I did my research and I couldn't get a statement or a record of when exactly the bridge was built. Everything pointed to somewhere in the 1940s.
Yeah, it's been, the bridge has been in state of disuse for more than 30 years. It's a very old bridge. And because that bridge is, as you said, it's a very strategic one. It's not only an interstate bridge, it's an international bridge because it connects Nigeria to Benin Republic and the rest of the world. And a huge volume of trade
passes through
that place. You can imagine the economic loss that is we are already experiencing. Farmers are all over the place.
For us, maybe the current government is preoccupied with politics. They have not really taken any steps.
I have not seen any major statement. I have not seen any motion on the floor of the National Assembly with respect to that bridge. I have not seen anything. But to be honest with you, let me tell you something which I have not said before. The way Nigerian system works, you have to understand it to make things happen. When people are choosing who to represent them, they have to choose the people who understand the system. I can guarantee you, to change that bridge is not difficult. To reconstruct it is not difficult. You just have to know how the Nigerian system works. There is limited resources to go around. There are so many bridges like this one across the country that is competing for the attention of the federal government. But if you know how you marshal a system, how do you marshal the system? If you want the president to fund that bridge, or you want the Ministry of Works, or you want the National Assembly to prioritize budget allocation for that bridge, all you just need to do is, A, what are you willing to give the people that will take that decision? What are you going to give them? Because it's a democratic system, it's about give and take. 2, how will the construction of that bridge serve their interest or serve the overall interest of the nation? Because my job, I've been training people on advocacy all over the world. I've been training people on how to use evidence for decision making. And my argument has always been, whether it's in South Africa or anywhere you go, you ask Professor Aremu from the airport, they know. The fact that you have a strong case does not mean that the system will take care of you. You must convince the system to take care of you. The fact that you have a strong evidence does not mean that it will be used for decision making. You have to know how to navigate the system and package the need, the urgent need to construct a different bridge or to give that bridge complete overhaul, and then you push, and then you navigate the system based on somebody. For example, I was a directing staff in NIPS, and the current set of permanent secretaries at the federal level, there are many of them that I trained before. Some of them I supervised them. Some of them are in different ministries. These are people that, as a member, as an individual, is different from being a member of the Federal House of Representatives. Some of them, I can even invite them to come over and have a conversation with them. I want this bridge constructed. What do you advise me to do? They'll tell you how you go about it. But sending someone who is not familiar with the system, who doesn't know how the system works,
it's unfortunate. Yeah. You have all the time in the world, and we know that you have a lot of engagement. But there's one last thing I want us to talk about. There's something that has eluded us in Kwara State. That is speaking representatives. We have been speaking representatives. We have been suffering. We have been struggling with. Tight-lipped representatives. They don't talk to us.
Oh,
we really get. You really get even town meetings to get feedbacks, grant interviews. After they win election, the only thing we see is the spokespersons. You really even see the spokesperson. The spokesperson will now even be more difficult than the representative itself, sir. If eventually you get the ticket, I think I can agree to some extent. This is the very first time. This is the second time I'm hosting you. Even after you get the ticket, I think you can grant us the opportunity again, inshallah, if you get it. So, but now, when you win, we have to run a task to see you. as I would not want to agree whether you represent me or not, but at least as a first sentence of the rep, for you to give an account for people, okay, you know me, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. That's something that has eluded us for a very long time. Sir, please, can we expect representation and feedback from you?
So I mean, I have to blame you, the media. You also have responsibility. You have to educate the people to elect the right set of people to positions. It is an obligation on the part of the representative to speak to you. You are not supposed to be the one to be pursuing them to speak to you. People voted them, and they have responsibility to communicate with people. Even when they are facing challenges and they explain to the people will understand with them. But I blame the media because you can see clearly and you educate them. Not that you are campaigning for one person against the other, not that you are being partisan, but you can lay out the facts and let the public know the choices that they are making. I've started telling my team, even before we get there, 4 years is 48 months. And we're going to put the 48th month on a chart and continue to account for each month. What have we done? And I've told them, not only that we are going to have regular media appearances to brief the people on what is going on in the National Assembly and what we are doing to represent their interests and protect their interests there, will be doing regular community outreaches, both in urban areas and in rural communities. We have 29 wards between Asa and Ilorin West. Even if we cannot cover all of them every quarter, we can cluster them and say we do this one at this phase, we do that one at this phase, we do that one at this phase. So, but the people should not be the one to be asking, where is my representative? We are the one that should go there to tell them. We may not be able to address all their needs, but the ones we are able to address, we will do. The ones we are unable to address, we'll let them know why we are unable to address it. People are understanding, provided you give them the information in a timely and respectable manner. So I am surprised that you have to be the one to be struggling. You will not struggle, we are the one that will look for you, because we need you, we are partners.
All right, thank you very much. I think now you are an aspirant. I wish that when you become a candidate, if you become a candidate, because we're not sure,
we're already a candidate already. We have already transited from that one. We are now candidates. The next time we will be discussing now will be the member.
I hope that you give us another time, and I hope when you get there, inshallah, you grant us the opportunity to speak with you and ask questions on what you have done and what you also wish to do. Thank you very much. I think that's a very good place to leave it. We are really honored for you granting us these rare opportunities. It's not something that is easy to do in this state, in this environment. Thank you very much, our viewers. That was Professor Abdulfatai Aremu. He said as a candidate. I don't think the party has announced, but as a medium, and I would say the aspirant for Ilorin West and Asa, you will not agree with that. Asa and Ilorin West Federal Constituency in the 2027 election. We wish you the very best of luck in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. We'll continue to partners. I remind myself of the country. Is that once again, do have a lovely day. See you next week.